I mean, if you had to put a finger on the most critical points in the book sales cycle, where exactly would you be stabbing your digits on that cycle?
I would think the pre-launch is actually one of the most important. And it would mean having all of your channels like set and ready to go, if that makes sense. And I guess I did touch on it a
Sure.
little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
have that cover early on. If you have the cover, you can have a Goodreads. There was a lot of times when I'm not going to lie and say I still completely understand Goodreads, but for years that wasn't a platform I was on. And so magically one day our book would appear there. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And people would start adding it, but it was never something that I added personally myself there. But if you can get it added there ahead of time, that's a huge step. So number one, having the pre-order up on wherever it's going to be. So if you have your own website, make sure you have pre-order links up there. Make sure you have a landing page. A landing page should have, well, I can maybe send you a link to one of mine and you can drop it in the video, but it's going to have, a tagline, a picture of the book, the synopsis, a whole lot of early reviews that you've got, links on where everyone can pre-order, and then that goes to your Amazon page. So then you've got the Amazon page set up where you can have that pre-ordered, or maybe they can even pre-order physical on your website. Then you have a Goodreads. And you're giving out early reviews to probably influencers and to ARC readers so that they can populate your Goodreads page. This way, that on release day, day number 1, you've maybe sold your 75 pre-orders, right? So if authors haven't done this before, pre-orders are bought, but they don't populate, or you don't really see them until the day of the official release. And then it goes out to everybody's Kindle. And this is assuming we're talking about a Kindle pre-order. So you've got your 75 jump up. All of a sudden, your ARC readers have left you maybe 10 to 15 reviews, hopefully at least on Goodreads. And now you can say, hey, Amazon's up. Could you please copy those over? So now you can get your 10, 15 reviews right away on Amazon. You have them immediately or within the first week, hopefully, and you're all set up. That, I think, is super important almost before anything else. If you have a week launch, you're always playing catch up. It just becomes more difficult to set it up. You almost have to have a re-release, if that makes sense. So really making sure you've got everything set before you launch at all.
From what I understand, SC, it's Amazon loves positive responses. From what I understand, the pre-orders are so important as well because it shows, hey, on the first day, this book is so popular, it sold this many books. So we're now going to pull all the readers into this that we think would be interested based on the type of book this is. And all the reviews as they come in, it's like, oh, there's more positive stuff. So again, Amazon's going to pull all those eyeballs in and to their recommended features and say, hey, you like this book, you're probably going to love this book that Bloodbound Books just published. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. And I by no means understand the algorithm, but that is what I can tell on my end too. So for example, when the 75 pre-order copies, they all hit that day, you've now sold 75 books in one day. You are probably going to be launched to the top of whatever category you were in.
Cool.
So for example, you're in apocalyptic horror because now they have ways of doing subgenres. Boom, you're like number 1 in it. I would also tell authors, grab a screenshot of that. People always love it. It's like, oh, wow, look, it made it to number 1, right? So you grab the screenshot. You now have something that shows you're the number 1 in your category on that first day. That's another piece of like marketing tools that you can use later. You can show it. Maybe you'll only be number 1 for the day, or maybe you've only jumped up to number 25, but absolutely. And I will say that Amazon, for all of some of the aggravations we have that they keep the data, they do an amazing job of marketing for you. I do think authors should be on Amazon. I know my wife, my friends, all of a sudden they're like, hey, dude, I heard you're putting out another book. I'm like, I didn't even tell you about it yet. No. Amazon put it up. They said SC's got another pre-order, or one of our authors do, because we always also put Bloodbound Books. So maybe a book would be written by, Aaron Thomas Milstead for Earworm, but it's also been edited or published by Bloodbound Books. So we have our own page there too. One of the goals of that is if people have followed Bloodbound Books, our hope is that every author we publish now gets that same love from Amazon.